Hi Bearcats, this is Gene Roberts with Student Legal and Mediation Services at Sam Houston State University. We are living in unprecedented times where we sometimes have to stay in close proximity with each other because of a quarantine. We have to stay with our roommates or family members, even though we're supposed to be socially distant. Some of our living arrangements don't allow that. So we're going to talk about some things that we can do to help to minimize conflicts during this time. One question that you might want to think about asking yourself and your roommate or your family member that you find yourself having to live with in close quarters is what's actually causing this conflict. In mediation talk, we sometimes will see people talk about a conflict, but the thing they're talking about isn't what's causing the conflict. There's some sort of underlying interest. As long as we are discussing positions, it's really hard to resolve that conflict. So we need to talk about the interest. What are the things that are driving the position? Sometimes those are very emotional things, but by knowing what's causing the conflict, it allows us to resolve it. Another thing that we can do is to adjust our expectations. There is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of news. It all seems to be bad. Let's reframe that and adjust our expectations. We hear words like it's the new normal. Well, what does new normal mean? Instead, let's reframe it and think about what we're going through in this way. This is short term. It will be over. What am I going to do when this is over? How do I adjust my routines and habits I've established now for the future? So if we can adjust our expectations, have a sense of hopefulness, that will help us with our conflicts. We also want to encourage people to listen actively with grace. What does this mean? There's a lot of resources on the internet about active listening techniques. It helps the other person know that they're being heard, and it helps to improve communication. So practice active listening techniques. Remember that the other person is in a tough situation, just like we are, and let's just approach each other with a little bit of grace. This may be a more legalistic thing to do, but it can be helpful, and that's make a roommate agreement. Of course, practice good physical distancing practices when you're talking with each other about this, but think about a roommate agreement. Our office has a roommate agreement form on its website at shsu.edu/slms, and it covers almost everything you can think about that are important to roommates. Sit down, talk about it, stay at least 6 feet away from each other, of course, but let's have some rules about what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, those types of things. That can help to prevent conflicts in the future. Setting boundaries can also be another good conflict resolution technique. Sometimes in the mediation world, we talk about this in terms of avoidance. Well, sometimes you just need to avoid your roommate or family member. Fortunately, we live in a world where there's a lot of ways to do that, whether hopping on Zoom, studying for classes, watching movies. But I also want you to think about some boundaries for yourself. What do I mean by this? Maybe take a break from social media. Maybe instead of viewing everything online, read a book, do a hobby, maybe go for a walk if you're allowed to. But think of something else that you can do that helps to refresh your mind, refresh your body, create some boundaries away from the other person, and that can help with the resolution of conflicts. Mediation is another tool that can be used to help to resolve conflicts. Mediation is where a neutral third party helps the participants in a dispute to talk with each other to facilitate the communication and to come up with ideas for resolution. We can mediate, we can do it online. Zoom has great capabilities for that, and it's a service that our office offers. So if you find yourself in a conflict and not quite sure what to do, reach out. We have video and phone appointments. You can make appointments through Campus Connect or by calling our office at 936-294-1717. Remember, you can Zoom from your room. Stay safe and try to maximize this time with peace.